to Small Business Saturday.
Welcome to Small Business Saturday's video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at oursuccessgroup.com. How's everybody doing this morning? We've had a good week, hopefully, and ready to get into a Saturday of, for me, my Saturday hopefully is going to be filled with getting lots of catch-up done. I did not get as much done on Thursday and Friday as I had hoped, so fortunately, I've got a free day today to get after some projects that I need to get to. So hopefully everybody else is doing great. Make a quick adjustment to the old camera here because my head's getting cut off. There we go. Now you can see my fuzzy hair. All right. Good morning, everybody. Let's see here who's checking in. Janessa, good morning to you. And Christine, thank you so much for being here. And Sandy, good morning. Good morning. And Jerry, good morning as well. Thank you all for joining us here this morning. Appreciate you being along for Small Business Saturdays. This is week 8 of the 10-week program. And week 8, and then inside of this 10-week program, this is the third part of taking 100% responsibility. That is the first principle in Jack Canfield's success principles, is taking 100% responsibility for yourself. And so this will be the second of the 3-parter. And we're going to be talking about giving up, blaming, and complaining. And this is a lesson that I go back to often, and a lesson that I have to continue to go over and over because I come from a long line of blamers and complainers. I always say, I don't know if that's actually true, but I got real good, especially in my 20s at blaming and complaining, blaming everybody else, complaining about everything. And so it's a constant battle for me to make sure that I realize that A, doesn't do any good, B, actually gets me further behind than where I wanted to be. So I'm excited about sharing this morning. Good morning, Connie. Thank you for being here with us. Before I do that, I wanted to ask you guys a couple quick questions, or just get some feedback, or basically bring up some stuff. So I'm trying to think here. Let's see here. So Sandy, yeah. So we've got a few of you guys. Good morning, Angela. Thank you so much for being here. We've got a few of you guys that are already in the Success Tracker program. So I'd love to get your feedback on that. What's working? What's not working for you? Where are you at? What are you feeling? The others of you here that are not in the Success Tracker program, I'm curious what your thoughts are on it. Does it not make sense? Does it not seem like it's worth it? What do you know about it? What do you have questions about? How the goal of our Success Tracker is to help you guys reach goals. We figured a 12-month goal period is a worthwhile thing because it's long enough that you can reach bigger goals. But it's not so long that you really can't see the progress that you're making. So we kind of picked out a year as the milestone there, and then put a 6-month, basically trying to get something that could be midway through for you. So Success Tracker, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, if you just go over to, let me get the banner up here, oursuccessgroup.com/ST, is a goal setting program. And the reason why we have this set up is it's certainly not a money maker for our success group. By the time we kind of get it rolling out the door, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to give people a kind of a taste of what our success group is. For our success group members, it only costs $1. For everybody else, it's normally $25. Right now, if you use the code THANKS, it's only $20. And to start off, you get a welcome pack. I won't give away all of it, but you can kind of see, let me move the right way here. Right behind me over here, that's my certificate for my Success Tracker for what I'm working on. You're going to get a certificate. You're going to get a pretty detailed instruction sheet that gives you It's about 7 steps, but the last 2 steps are to share your goal. So it's really just 5 steps of things that you need to do kind of on the daily. And then we're going to give you some other little fun things to help keep you on track. This is around to it, get around to it. So that's explained in the information that you get with the welcome pack. And then we put it out there, we share, we support, we reach out, we ask you what we can do to help. Once you reach a milestone, you're going to get a coffee mug that reminds you that, yes, you've done it, you're successful. And then once you reach your goal, you're going to get a shirt and you'll be able to complete your certificate. And then you can get on to the next one. All the little things that you get, I love them. And I think that they're great because it gives us something tangible to remind us, help our brains stay focused. But the real value to me is that together we can reach our goals faster. So that's what I'm curious about. Those of you that are in it, how's it going for you? Those of you that are familiar with it but haven't signed up yet, what's holding you back? And for those of you that are just hearing about it, I'd love to hear your feedback on where you're at with everything. So that's where I'm going to start today. I'm going to throw that out there. So let me know what you guys think there. While you guys are doing that, let's go ahead and I'm going to get some things up over here. Let's go ahead and review where we've been at on this 10-week program so far. For those of you that are just checking in and haven't been able to check out the previous 7 weeks, here is a link that's in the notes here. For those of you that are listening on the podcast version, if you'll just go to liveosg.com, you can check out the playlist of the Success Principles series. And for those of you that are in the comments, either on YouTube or on Facebook here live, you can click on that link that I just posted, and we'll show that real quick. And that'll get you the whole playlist of all of the weeks. So you can go back to that. But with beyond that, let's just go back and review them all here real quickly. So let me take that banner off real quick. All right. So the first week we went through being clear why you're here, being understanding what it is, what our life purpose is, what our why is, what our mission, what our manifesto. I mean, all sorts of things you could call it, whatever sounds right to you. That's what you should call it. But for me, it's empowering business owners to achieve their idea of success. So it's providing resources that empower business owners to achieve their idea of success. So that was the first week. Get clear on that, because without that, you're kind of just lost at sea. You're kind of going, okay, let's try this, let's try that. And, nothing necessarily wrong with that, but you can get so much more accomplished when you have one main mission. Sorry, I jumped there. My little Post-it note that I leave under the camera to remind me to smile just fell off. So you guys will have to remind me to smile here this morning. All right. So that was the first week. Second week, decide what you want. It seems like a duh moment, but really it's a good reminder that, hey, we need to, what do you want? What do you want from your business? What specifically, why are you in business and what do you want from it? What are the goals? We talked about making 101 goals list of things you want to do before you die. And it's just getting that stuff out there. It's one thing to write it down, but then also getting it out there and sharing it will get you so much closer to reaching those things that you want. So we talked about that. And then in the third week, we clarified our ideal vision. And in clarifying, what we did is take those things that we want. We start with our life purpose and use that as kind of the guide. And then we take those things that we want and we make them into a story, a very clear picture of what it is that success looks like to us in all the different areas of our lives. And so that was week 3. And then in week 4, we talked about believe your dream is possible. And that gave us the ability to, it's one thing to have goals but if you can't believe it inside of you, if you can't trust yourself, then it's going to be really hard to get there. So we talked about ways to believe your dream is possible and get that out there. And then In week 5, we took our goals and we turned them into SMART goals. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and trackable, or time-bound, depending on which way you like to go with it. And but we boiled that down into a very simple formula of how much and by when. So if my goal is to grow my business, then I need to take that and I need to determine how much do I want to grow my business and what specifically does that mean. So I can grow my business and get a whole bunch of sales with no profit. And so I can actually be losing money and still achieving my goal. So if I'm not specific with that, I'm not going to work on the right things. I'm not going to get the right help. I'm not going to get the right support. So I need to be very specific with how much and then by when. So I can grow my business, but if that growth doesn't happen until I'm 95, 100 years old, is that where I really want to be? So, for me, my goal is to have 1,000 people in our Masters of Success program that have been in our Masters of Success program, whether they're still active or not, but just 1,000 people that have taken at least a quarter to be in the Masters of Success program. And I want that to happen by December 31st, 2024. So right now we've got 6, so I got a ways to go, but that's really important for not only our brain, but for the people out there that are willing to support and help us. If they don't have that specific, like, what are you after, then you're not going to be able to get there. Week 6, we talked about choosing our breakthrough goal. Christine actually shared with us BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goal. WIGS is another one. Wildly, what is it? Wow, but wild goals. No, I'm sorry, it was WAGs. That's why I messed it up. It's WAGs. Wild ass goals. So the WAGs are another way that people talk about those, but basically just a breakthrough goal. What if you reach that goal, it's going to change things dramatically for you. To me, it's like, okay, I'm nearly at the peak, or, it's like that last push. And then from there, it's just, kind of, so as we're climbing the mountain, it's like, what is right here that once you get there, then you can kind of put it on cruise control. All right. So that's the breakthrough goal. And then last week, we started off talking about the E plus R equals O, the 100% responsibility, and taking full control of your life. All right. So we got a couple comments here. Let's see here. Sandy says, Sandy is one of those folks that's in the Success Tracker program. By following the tasks on the Success Tracker, I have achieved far more than I would have without it. Aaron and Todd are great resources. Thank you very much. Wade, good morning. Nan, getting after it. Hopefully you were able to get some sleep yesterday, Nan, and working and listening already. Awesome. Great job. High five, Nan. Good. Okay. So that's the review. We talked a little bit about Success Tracker. So I'm very interested to hear from folks that aren't in Success Tracker yet. What's holding you back, or what don't you understand about it? What is it that, do you feel like it's a waste of money? Whatever it is, I'm open to that feedback, and I'm not going to take it personally. I'm not going to blame or complain. We need that. We want that. And I would very much appreciate if you guys would give us that feedback as to what's working with Success Tracker and what's not. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So we talked about Success Tracker. We've reviewed everything so far, so you guys have a good base of where we're heading here. Let's go ahead and get ourselves into 13 hours. All right, man, good job. I crashed out pretty early too, so feeling much better today myself. Good. All right, so let's get into week 8, give up, blaming, and complaining. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Canfield here in just one moment. And we'll listen to him. This one is a little bit longer today, so it's 7 minutes and 23 seconds. And it's a great one, though. Like I said, I've listened to this one several times, and each time I get a little better at it, and I learn a little bit more. So I'm excited to hear what you guys think about that. So here we go.
This week, we're going to focus on the second aspect of taking 100% responsibility for your life. And we're going to look at 3 things that people do that basically abdicate their responsibility and leave you in a state of being a victim and not getting the results you want. And these are responses to events, but they don't work. They don't get you anything new. And the first thing is blaming. Most people, when they don't get what they want, they blame someone else or something else, or the E in our E plus R equals O. And so we blame the government, we blame our boss, we blame our spouse, we blame our parents, we blame our neighbors, we blame the weather, we blame the traffic for making us late, we blame that time of month, we blame where the moon is, if it's a full moon or not. I mean, you could go down the line. But the problem is those are responses that don't produce a result. So the first thing you have to do is you have to give up blaming other people. And we all do that. It's kind of built into the culture. We have politicians who blame the other party, presidents who blame the Congress who blames the presidents. We blame other countries. We blame OPEC. We blame, just Wall Street. We blame the people that are our employees for not caring enough, and so forth and so on. So you have to give up blaming. So I want you to make a little sign this week, and I want you to put it again on your bathroom mirror, on your refrigerator, on your computer, somewhere at work, in your cubicle, wherever you are, that says no blaming, no complaining, and no excuse making, because it's such a habit. And I'm going to give you a really powerful technique at the end of this, but let's talk about complaining for just a minute. Complaining, you cannot complain about something unless you have a reference point of something better that you prefer. Think about this. Martin Luther King did not give a speech called "I Have a Complaint." He gave a speech called "I Have a Dream," because he knew that when you focus on what you don't want, you get more of what you don't want. And so we're going to talk about how to focus on your dream in just a few more modules. But really for now, just know that complaining will not get you there. Now, if I'm complaining about my wife, let's say I call her the food Nazi, and she comes in, I'm watching the Super Bowl, and she's like, "I can't believe you're eating Cheetos and drinking a beer. What's wrong with you? You're getting fat while other people are out in the field getting healthy and are exercising and making lots of money." Now, I start to complain. I go to work and I say, "Russ, you wouldn't believe my wife. She is such a pain in the butt. Every time I go to eat something, you're not going to eat that, are you?" And so I complained to Russ about my wife. Now, I couldn't complain about her being the food Nazi if I didn't have some image or knowledge of some other woman who's not that way, that I would prefer that behavior or that person. Like maybe my friend Bill's wife goes, "Hey, you guys want some more nachos? You want me to make up some pizza? You want me to bring you another beer? How can I help?" Now, that maybe I would prefer that. So the point is, I can't compare, I can't complain about anything unless I can compare it to something better. If you're complaining about the weather, it's only because you know there's better weather somewhere else. But we'd rather complain about it than move or do something different, go on a vacation, wherever it is that would take us that place. Let's say you're complaining about your job. You couldn't do that if you didn't know there was a better job somewhere, maybe with a more fulfilling role to play, a better boss, a more humane staff, whatever it might be. So complaining means I have something I want that I'm not willing to risk creating. Because if I left my wife, maybe I wouldn't find that perfect person. Maybe if I said to her, "Honey, it's my body. Let me eat what I want. You decide what you want to put in your body." And then she says, "Well, let's go to therapy about that." Then I go to therapy and my therapist says, "She's right. You're just eating a lot of crap. You're going to die early." All of a sudden, I'm the bad guy. So the idea is if you're complaining about something, you've got to do something different. In a case, if you're with someone you hate, then maybe it's called change jobs, get out of a terrible marriage, a terrible relationship. And it might be, do get into therapy. It might be just to tell your truth and say, when you do that, I end up feeling this and I don't like feeling that. So my preference is you would do that. But most of us would rather be comfortable than do the uncomfortable thing and take the risk to create what we want. So whenever you're complaining, ask yourself, what is it I want, that I prefer, and what can I do to get it? That's how you get more of what you want. And the last area is excuse making. Most of us make excuses about all kinds of stuff. The traffic was there. The printer didn't get to work on time. I would have got it done, but my assistant got the flu. We're always making excuses, and excuses are not going to get you where you want to go. Often, if you look at the excuse, if you'd gone back further and did a little better planning, if you had some options in line in case this person did get sick or that didn't come in on time, then you would be in a lot better place. So we want to give up blaming, give up complaining, and give up excuse making. Let me just say one more thing about complaining. Have you ever seen an old person with a walker Maybe they're walking through the hospital or through the mall or through, a house where you are, and they got this little walker and they're just taking one little step and they're all bent over and hunched over. You never hear them going, gravity. I hate gravity. One for gravity, I wouldn't be all bent over like this. Gravity sucks. Now, you never see anyone do that. Why not? Because they know there's no option. People don't complain about things where there's no option. If you're complaining, it means you know there's an option that's better than what you have that you would prefer, and you're not taking action to do it. So again, what would I prefer? How could I get it? Start thinking about the actions that would get you there. Now, here's a technique that will help you become aware of your blaming, complaining, and excuse making, and help you realize there's a cost to it, because it's costing you your power. It's costing you your results that you want. Set up a jar. I use a fishbowl, but set up a jar or fishbowl and label it $2 fine for blaming, complaining, and excuse making. And anytime anyone in your family or at work, you could have what we call an accountability partner. I'd like you to pick someone to be your accountability, to listen to you when you talk. And anytime you blame, complain, or make an excuse, their job is to tell you $2 in the bowl. Now, it's not to punish you. It's to let you know that when you do that, it is costing you. So I do that in all my seminars. They have these bowls up in the front of the room. And at home, we have a jar like that in the office. And if people blame, complain, make excuses, then it's a $2 fine. And after about a couple of weeks, they stop doing it because it's costing them. And it's not to punish, just to make you aware. Remember, awareness plus changing your behavior equals growth. So set up your $2 jar. Make sure that they know what blaming, complaining, and excuse making is. Be responsible. Do the exercise. And I promise you, by the end of the week, you're going to be in a different mindset around blaming, complaining, and excuse making. And you'll be more powerful as a result of it. And stick around, because we have one more lesson coming up next week on taking 100% responsibility. I'll see you then. Have a good week.
Okay, there we go. So, great stuff. Like I said, I've watched that a couple times, and I need to continue to watch it over and over again. So, what's your feedback? What are your thoughts there? It's to me. Okay, so again, this has been a big struggle for me. So this is my take on it. This is the way I feel about it. But to me, that the very first time I watched that, or the very first time I learned some of those things from Jack Canfield, I was cringing. It hurt. It felt bad, because I'm like, oh my goodness, so right. And that's what I do, but it's uncomfortable. And I don't like being uncomfortable. Most of us don't like being uncomfortable. So it's a very interesting place to be. And the more you listen to it, the more you realize that, yes, I know that some of that feels a little yucky, but that's okay. It's okay to feel a little yucky about it. You did the best that you could in the moment that you were at, but now you have this information. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to work on giving up blaming, complaining, and excuse making? So with that being said, let's get the now the worksheet this week is not necessarily a worksheet. It's more of an action to take here. So I'm going to post that in the comments, and then you can go click on that and check that out. So I'll put that right up there. So let's get this onto the screen here, and get that one, and we'll make it a little bit bigger too. Okay, there we go. And take that down. Thank you, Christine. Let's get to that here. All right, so make it a little bit bigger so everybody can read it. All right. Let me go back to Angela. Angela said, I saw Jack in person when I was in Airborne lots of years ago. I've seen him in person a couple times, and I'm going through his Success Principles training right now. And for whatever reason, there's a lot of people that are doing similar stuff, but for whatever reason, I really kind of resonated and connected with what he had to say. So hopefully you guys are enjoying learning from him just as much as I do. Christine says, definitely agree with what he said. Like you, I had a real issue with blaming others for my problems when I was in my late teens and 20s. Once I learned to take responsibility for what I did and how I thought, things got much better. I went from feeling powerless to feeling powerful. Christine, that is so awesome. That's perfect. That's exactly where I wanted to head with this, because as I was saying, to me, it felt icky. It felt like I felt bad, and I felt like, who's this person telling me that, I can't blame or complain or make excuses? That was my comfort zone for so long. But once I, again, like Christine said, started changing my mindset, I became like, I felt really empowered. I felt like I could do things that I never thought I could do. I was now responsible for myself, which was scary. But on the flip side of that, now I'm responsible for myself and I can make whatever I want happen. Now, is it going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. Am I going to have to work really hard at it? For sure. But is it going to be what I want for me and the people around me? 100%. And that's where this, to me, ties into our business. You've started a business. You're a business owner. You have the ability to make it whatever you want. Nobody can tell you how you should run your business. And I know that that's hard sometimes, because the customer's always right. Well, the customer is always right once they've paid you, but you don't have to take their money. You may want to, and you may need to, because you need the orders, but that becomes your job to build it and make it the way that you want it to be. And you're empowered to do that. So I love your comment there, Christine. Thank you so much for sharing that. If anybody else has any thoughts, ideas, comments, I'd love to hear them. Nan, I appreciate what you said about the success tracker there. I'll come back to that here in just a little bit. But let's take a look at the worksheet here. And he talked about basically what he mentioned there with the jar and finding an accountability partner. And I'll just read parts of it here real quick. I'll read the first paragraph. Here's an exercise you can do in your home office or with friends. It's one we do at my house, at my office, and all of the seminars. We find a large jar or fishbowl and label it, no blaming, complaining, no excuses. So with our virtual world that we're living in at the moment, you probably can do this at home. If you've got family around, you can probably do it for yourself and just, have it as a visual reminder. But I'm open to some ideas of how we might be able to do this for ourselves virtually. Maybe inside the Business Basics group. If we see anybody that is familiar with this, we can maybe just say fishbowl. How about that? We'll just do, in fact, unless you guys have some, okay, cool. Let's get to this. I'm going to make an executive decision here because I've got the microphone. If we see a situation where somebody's blaming, complaining, or excuse making inside the Business Basics group, or you can use it wherever, and I'll try to keep an eye on this hashtag, but we're going to use the hashtag fishbowl. And if they're not familiar with it, and if they ask what fishbowl means, you can point them back to this video. But if they are somebody that was able to catch Small Business Saturdays here, they'll know right away that, okay, yep, that's right. Now, what they do with their $2, that's up to them. All right. So how about that? Christine, let's see what you got here. She says, it also was so freezing to figure out that I had to be responsible for me and everyone else had to be responsible for themselves. I'd spent years taking responsibility for other people's feelings and actions. It took such a weight off to realize I could only manage me and my thoughts and behaviors. I love it. That's awesome. That's a great way to process that. Thank you, Christine. Good. I'm going to have to, maybe you can come on Small Business Saturdays after we're done here and talk to me about this whole process. I know you've been doing some things inside of your group, Women in Garment Decorating, plus inside of your podcasts and all the different content that you're putting out. So I'd love that perspective. Thank you, Christine. And Nan, I love it too. Thank you. All right, cool. So there we go. So fishbowl. All right, we're going to use hashtag fishbowl. Let me know what other thoughts you guys have here. And I'm going to go ahead and take this down. And again, you guys can go click on that. And there's nothing to write out here. You maybe can use the back of it and do a little journaling about it, or write out some things that you've noticed that, oh, cool. Christine, we're making it happen. Let me look at the calendar and see what I've got scheduled after the end of the 10 weeks. So this will be 9. And then we get into the new year and some other things, but we'll figure out a time. And yes, we'll have a wrap up session where you join me and give me feedback. I'm making a note right now. Cool. That's awesome. I'm excited about that already. Okay. So, as I said, you can kind of journal. One of the things that I did that helped me was that I did start doing kind of some journaling and writing and sharing and just kind of putting stuff on paper that was bouncing around in my head. And one of the things that came up was, okay, what is it that I'm blaming or complaining about or excuse making about a lot? You know, what is it that I've given away my power on? And once I started putting those things down on paper, then it really helped move things forward a lot faster. So that's what I would recommend doing here. There's not actually a worksheet, but certainly something to do. And yeah, put this into play in your life. And we're going to put this into play into our Facebook world here. And again, hashtag fishbowl. So, okay, cool. Let's take that down. Stop sharing that. All right. So let me go back real quick to what Nan had said, because I'd asked about Success Tracker earlier, and Nan is also in the Success Tracker program. She says, I think it's great. It makes you accountable not only to yourself, but to others. It's on paper and something to look at to stay in the front of your mind to help you stay focused on your goal. And then Aaron will post a check-in post and remind you to check your goals and see where you're at, and helps you make adjustments to stay on the right path. Awesome. Thank you, Nan. I love that feedback. I love what Nan said about staying on the right path too. I think one of the things that I was doing to myself a lot was I was always worried that, if I wasn't doing the right things, I was going to get off path and I'd never make it to my goal. Well, that's actually the exact thing that you want to do. Is you want to getting to success is like this. And the story that Jack Canfield tells is about the first mission to the moon. I can't remember the exact figures, but they were off course like 85% of the time. But yet they still made it to the moon, which, that's a really long ways away and really hard to get to. So they made it to the moon being off course 85% of the time, or even more possibly. But what happened is, as they get off course, they had instruments. They had a way to get feedback as to whether they were on course or off course. And so that feedback is your instrument to understand, am I on course or off course? And then I take that feedback and I go, okay, nope, I'm a little off course. So let's make an adjustment. And then I'm back. And then, I'm a little off course this way. Now I'm back. Okay. Feedback, boom, 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 boom. And there we go. So I love that part about the feedback, Nan, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. All right. Christine says, one thought about Success Tracker. I know for some people, me included, sometimes it's scary to put your goal out into the world. If you never tell anyone, no one will ever know if you fail or not. I am right there with you. Honestly, the interesting part about all of this is, I had talked about wanting to do a digital marketing seminar. And I kind of talked about it internally. I told a few people, but not really a whole lot of specifics about it. And then one day on Small Business Saturdays, I opened my big fat mouth and I made a comment that I was thinking about doing that. And Todd was watching at that particular point, and he held me accountable. And I had put it out there, but then he asked me to get more specific. And at the same time, I was in the process of just starting the Success Principles training. And, so is it scary? Absolutely. My business right now, my sole business is our success group. I've got a few other things that we do, but my focus is our success group, and that's completely on me and Todd. But that's scary, but I have to put it out there. If I don't put it out there, I'm not going to make it. And yes, it's totally scary. And if you never tell anyone, never know if you fail. But I guess when we go back to what we just talked about with taking 100% responsibility for ourselves, you will know that you failed. And if we're taking 100% responsibility for our life and our results, if I don't put it out there, I know I'm going to fail, or I have a very big chance of failing if I don't put it out there, because most things that are worth reaching for also require help, require customers, so think about this for your business, for example. Those of you that are decorators, maybe you're afraid that people won't like what you do, or you're not an expert enough, or whatever. But if you don't put it out there, if you don't share, hey, I've got this for sale, or hey, what do you think about this, or hey, so-and-so, I need help with this. If you don't put those things out there, you will not be able to get to any relative success in any time soon. Yes, something might just hit and somebody might happen upon it, but why don't you take your business into your own hands and put it out there? So that's my take on that. I'm not saying I don't disagree. I'm not saying I didn't do that for many, many years. And yes, there's still things that I, probably need to put out there, and push myself that I hold back on. But I unfortunately got myself to a point where I was putting so much out there that then I started failing even more because I had too much going on. So I'm finding that balance. Again, that's feedback. I went this way, and then I went this way, and now I went this way. And so find that balance. Awesome. All right. I think that's about it for today. Unless you guys have any other questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, anything else. One other thing I did want to share with everybody is I mentioned that my goal is to have 1,000 people in the Masters of Success program by December 31st, 2024. And we are now taking open enrollments for the next quarter. So for calls starting in January, we're putting together some new groups. We've got one group going right now with 6 people in it. In fact, we just had one of our calls yesterday. Incredible. Lots of open communication, honesty, vulnerability, support, help. I mean, just everything you could ever want in a group. So I am so proud of them. And, for me, I get to, with Todd, we kind of get to be the guardrail, so to speak, but we give the tools and then sit back, and these fantastic ladies are just crushing it with their businesses. When we look at where we started, when we started this back in October 23rd, it's incredible. So I highly recommend you go and check it out. If you go to oursuccessgroup.com/masters of success, if you are serious about your business's success, this is a program that you want to look into. All right. If you want to talk to me about it, you can go right down in the bottom of just scroll down that page, and we can actually set up a Zoom call to talk about it. Reach out, send me an email, success@oursuccessgroup.com. I want people in this program. So tell me what you need to do to be in this program. All right. I just put my goal out there on Success Tracker. I'm going to finish writing a book by the end of 2021. Guess it's out there now. Yes, you will, Christine. I love it. And you amazing. I can't wait. I want to be one of the first customers for that book. So there's my putting it out there, and anything I can do to help you, how to reach me. So it is out there now. Christine, let's give her a round of applause here. I love it. Thank you very much. Good job. Sweet. All right. Christine, Janessa asked, Christine, is it the decorator's murder mystery? People are talking about that still, Christine. So you may have to put 2 books out if that's not the one. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that, Janessa. All right. So Masters of Success, again, love to talk to anybody about it. What your thoughts are, where you're at, all that kind of fun stuff. And then let's talk real quick about next week here, and got too many things going on in front of me here. So next week is week 9, and we are going to be talking about creating the results that you want. So inside this series, remember he said this was a 3-part deal. So this is the conclusion of the lesson on taking 100% responsibility for your life and creating the results that you want. So we're going to talk about affirmations and some great ways to kind of get those results that you want. All right. That's one of the possible books on the list. I'm still playing with that idea. That would be awesome. I would, like I said, I want to be one of the first customers, Christine. So first readers. I'm looking forward to reading Terry's book when it comes out in a couple of weeks too. So that's my thing. All right. So next week, week 9, we're doing that. Sorry. So we're talking about the thoughts you think, the images, the actions you take. I actually jumped ahead, and then in week 10, we're going to talk about affirmations. We're going to talk about how you can change that inner critic to an inner coach, and have some, positive inner self-talk. And so I'm looking forward to that. All right. I think that's about it. And if you guys have anything else, let me know. If you need to reach out to me, always the best way to do it is by email, success@oursuccessgroup.com. You can always find me on Facebook and other places like that too. But I'm kind of an email guy, so would appreciate you dropping into my email box there, success@oursuccessgroup.com, to reach out to me. And with that being said, I think we'll conclude Small Business Saturdays today. Thank you all so much for being here. Appreciate all the comments and feedback. And thank you, Christine. Appreciate you being here and all of your insight. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your Saturday. And hopefully the holiday season's going fantastic. And we're off to make this 2020. We're gonna squeeze some good out of it. All right, let's do it. All right, you guys. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.